CTV News at 6 with Joe Perkins.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. Family and friends of Lindsay Buziak took to the streets of Saanich today. It's been exactly 5 years since the well-known realtor was murdered as she was showing a home in Gordon Head. After years of investigating, the case is still unsolved, leaving many, including Saanich police, puzzled. But Lindsay's father is confident that the case and the walk will lead to justice. Like he's done for the past 2 years, Jeff Buziak showed up this morning at the Royal Oak Burial Park armed with signs asking the question, who murdered his daughter Lindsay? A group of roughly 50 supporters showed up this morning, many teary-eyed, to take part in the annual Walk for Justice.
Today is really about remembering Lindsay. Today is a day, hopefully everyone's full of love and remembrance of Lindsay. I think, we just want to meditate on that. And also I think today is a day to give thanks to Saanich Police.
Jeff Buziak has been highly critical of Saanich Police's investigation. So far, there have been no arrests. Buziak says from the little information he's received, he believes the Saanich Police are closing in on cracking the case, and that is what many say they hope happens.
We are here just like everybody else to put some pressure on the authorities to find out what's really happening and bring the people who are responsible to accountability.
We certainly do hope that justice will be served in this case and that it will be brought about soon.
It's not over until you find someone. Yeah, she needs to be, the family needs to rest in peace.
After addressing the crowd, Buziak led the group on the same path they've walked in the years past, a more than 10-kilometer trek through the streets of Saanich, right to the house where Lindsay was murdered. The 24-year-old was stabbed multiple times inside the upscale Gordon Head home on the evening of February the 2nd of 2008 when she was showing the home. Buziak's body was found by her boyfriend, Jason Zylo, 15 minutes after her death. Similar to years past, the walk stopped promptly outside the home for some reflection.
This is an unsolved murder investigation. The home was chosen for a reason, and my daughter was executed here, and we have to find out who did that. And we're going to continue this walk until this murder is solved. And for those out there that are involved, we're coming for you. We're going to get you. Your days are numbered. Enjoy your freedom while it lasts.
Today's walk wrapped up at Saanich Municipal Hall. Saanich police say the murder was targeted. Both police and her father continue to reach out to the public, hoping someone will come forward with information that could lead to a break in the case. A reminder tonight for anyone thinking about going for a paddle on the Gorge. Emergency crews and Victoria Police were called to the Tillicum Bridge after reports of a flipped canoe in the waterway. A father and son team were paddling when the two underestimated the current at the bridge and flipped. When police arrived, the two were already out of the water. The father says the incident is a good reminder for everyone.
Just not to overestimate your abilities and to take a cautious approach. So we'll use more caution in the future.
The two were a little wet and cold from the fall, but both were okay. Vancouver police have a suspect in custody following that bloody rampage Thursday night in a Vancouver West End apartment. 33-year-old Joseph Bonerick is facing 12 assault charges, including 4 counts of aggravated assault, 4 counts of assault with a weapon, 3 counts of common assault, and 1 count of assaulting a peace officer. The suspect is in custody, but police are not saying if they understand the motive in the mass stabbing. On Thursday, police say the suspect was running through the hallways on several floors of a downtown building, slashing people with a knife. He was also carrying a hammer. 2 of the 7 people injured are still in hospital, 1 in very serious condition. Bonerick, who reportedly worked in a Lower Mainland bakery, will stay in police custody until Monday's court appearance. Staying on the mainland, police in Surrey are investigating 2 early morning shootings. Police were called to a home around 2 where they found a man who had been shot in the leg. About an hour later, someone fired multiple shots at a home in Newton. No one was hurt in the shooting, or in that shooting, I should say. The 2 shootings are not believed to be related. Back on the island, we're now more than a month into the new year, but Christmas is still on the minds of one Nanaimo family. On Christmas Eve, you may recall the fondue pot that led to a massive fire gutting an entire Nanaimo home. It left 4 people and a dog called Zero homeless. But now, 1 month later, the family is finally reunited for the first time. CTV's Jet Bassey has the story.
Liz Fleming is back in her kitchen.
Well, it's good to be home, isn't it, dear?
Reunited with her 2 best friends, her husband Bob and her dog Zero.
Eh? Yeah, it's a Christmas fire survivor.
On Christmas Eve, Liz and her family were enjoying a fondue dinner when the Christmas tree caught on fire. Flames ravaged the home. Liz, Bob, their daughter Alex, and Zero managed to escape.
It was like, this can't be, right? I mean, it's Christmas Eve. I mean, this just doesn't happen on Christmas Eve.
The ambulance transported the 3 burn victims to the hospital, but left the dog behind.
I see our little dog Zero, and I just said, well, what's going to happen with Zero?
A stranger stepped forward to help the Flemings.
This gentleman said, don't worry about the dog, I'll look after your dog for you.
Then the next day, my husband found out his story, and he was a homeless man that took our dog.
Liz suffered burns to her face and her body. She spent more than a month in Victoria's burn house. Bob was right there by her side, but her pooch was hundreds of kilometers away, living in a homeless man's truck.
And then we made arrangements to have the dog handed over to a close friend of ours up in this Glazier area.
The stranger from Port Alberni handed over the dog to one of the Flemings' neighbors.
And Zero returned, and we're doing quite well. My dog.
Liz's burns are healing. She wears a special garment to protect her left hand. It looks like a glove. She can only manage small household chores and is unable to go to work.
My goal is to get back as quickly as possible.
It will take 2 years of physiotherapy for Liz's hand to gain its full mobility. She says she'll work hard to get the glove off so she can shake the man's hand who rescued her dog.
I'd like to see if I can contact him to, give our thanks to him properly.
The Flemings are now together again, a family reunited by the kindness of a perfect stranger. Jet Bassey, CTV News, Bowser.
The Idle No More movement back on the South Island today with another rally in Centennial Square. A few hundred people turned out for the latest rally. The peaceful movement hopes to send a message to the Harper government and its bills C-38 and C-45, which the movement wants to see repealed. The rally was originally scheduled for the Bay Center, but concerns lit up social media sites earlier this week that the rally would clash with a wedding show. So movement organizers agreed to take the rally to Centennial Square. And that wedding show got what it wanted, an uninterrupted day full of everything wedding related. Now, if you're planning a wedding, this was where you wanted to be today, with more than 50 exhibitors spread out over all 3 floors of the mall. The Modern Bride Show is put on by the Just Love Animals Society. The organization says the event is a unique way to highlight a cause. The society is trying to stop the sale of animals at all retail pet stores. The highlight of the day, a live wedding, which happened about a half an hour ago. If you'd like more information on Just Love Animals, you can go to their website at jlasociety.com. A former Saanich Mayor joined an elite group of community leaders today. Howard Sturrock, the mayor of Saanich from 1987 to 1990, was named a Freeman of the District of Saanich this morning. Freeman is the highest formal honor a municipality can award a person. It's much like a ceremonial key to a city. Sturrock becomes the 12th person in 106 years to receive the honor. He says in all his time on council and as mayor, he is most proud of getting recycling moving in Saanich and then throughout the Capital Regional District. He also says today's honor is a complete shock.
I never imagined that I'd get this honor. No, not for a moment. I was flabbergasted when the mayor phoned me and told me about it.
In addition to being the former mayor of Saanich, Mr. Sturrock was also a Capital Regional District board chair and a board member for the Municipal Finance Authority and BC Assessment Authority. He says, looking back, he has no regrets. And a congratulations to him. A popular show that's led to some island success was back on the South Island today, searching for those worthy of the Dragon's Den. Yesterday, the Dragons' Den team was on Salt Spring Island. Today, they were in Victoria, listening to about 50 pitches, including one from Rob Bartnick, the creator of the Beaver Garden and Camp General Purpose Tool.
It's a shovel that gives you an ergonomic advantage when working with the tool. It lets you dig deeper, faster, more precisely, using less energy, and it lasts longer and is more aesthetic.
Bartnick said he found out about the Dragons' Den on Thursday. Producers say a handful of people from today's tryout will get the chance to pitch to the Dragons in Toronto. Well, if you have a Twitter account, you may want to reset your password. Twitter says hackers may have gained access to information on 250,000 of its users. The social media giant says the information might include usernames, email addresses, and encrypted passwords. Twitter, which has more than 200 million users, says the attack wasn't the work of amateurs. Welcome back. Private clinics specializing in autism treatment continue to pop up in the capital region, and some say they are creating a two-tiered system. The clinics provide an alternative for families who say the wait list for assessments and treatment is just too long. CTV's Erin Glazier has the story.
Did you get the videotape yet?
5-year-old Liam Ward is exploring his world, but he's starting later than most children.
Typically, children would be very engaged with one another and very interested in their surroundings, and he was far more interested in things that were lights and sounds and things like that.
When he was 3, his parents suspected Liam might have autism spectrum disorder, a condition that affects reasoning, social interaction, and communication. They took him to a pediatrician who told them to wait and see if he improved on his own.
Time is of the essence.
But by the time he entered kindergarten, they knew Liam was different and needed help fast.
All the studies show that early intervention is so crucial. So there's a real window between about the age of 3 to 5 that, every month matters, for example.
And intervention costs money. A child diagnosed with autism is eligible for $22,000 of funding a year, but at age 6, it drops to $6,000 a year. The family brought Liam here to the Queen Alexandra Centre for Children's Health, the only public assessment clinic on Vancouver Island, and they were told it would take several months to get a diagnosis. So instead, they paid to bypass the system and got an answer within 2 weeks from a private clinic called Monarch House.
Yes, so this is a young child and they're doing the early intervention.
Monarch says it provides timely assessments while filling a hole in therapy needs for autistic children in Greater Victoria. After an early intervention intensive behavioral program was cut from Queen Alexandra in 2009. It says many have fallen through the cracks.
It's heart-wrenching every story that we hear, but it's great to know that we're here and we're able to help provide them with a best practice program and services that are timely to help them reach those services that they so desperately need.
The Vancouver Island Health Authority says wait times have improved. Autism assessment for a child under 6 should take between 4 and 6 months. 6 and older between 9 to 12 months. And almost $1.3 million was spent last year to provide 1,600 assessments per year going forward. Funding for assessments is now $4.9 million. But the NDP are critical of those numbers and say more needs to be done.
There's no point in having the funding in place. There's no point in saying you're going to have the treatment if you're waiting a year or 2 years to get an assessment.
Waiting for the government is what prompted Laurel Duraceau to take matters into her own hands. A co-founder of Mosaic Learning Centre, she schools her 2 autistic boys.
This is a big triangle.
Focus. Look, yeah, this is the big triangle.
She says autistic cases have skyrocketed in the last 2 decades since her first son was diagnosed, and that parents are on the front lines of fighting for proper treatment.
Now there's nothing other than the social workers, other parents, and so many fall through the cracks.
Duraceau wants a central hub for autism programs back on Vancouver Island. As for Liam and his parents, their story is far from over, as they use up the last of this year's money on intensive therapy before his 6th birthday.
It's a journey that doesn't stop. There's a lot of work yet to be done.
Erin Glazier, CTV News, Victoria.